So why would you do this workshop? Why would you do this Breaking the Patterns workshop? Well, basically because you're just tired of living the same experience over and over again. There's a part of your life, whether it's your relationships, money, your career, your kids, whatever it is, there's this reoccurring pattern. And if you're tired of playing out that pattern over and over and over again, then this workshop is really for you. If you feel you're hitting your head against a brick wall, this workshop is for you, because we'll actually look at the pattern and transform it into something that is going to be completely honoring your own values, and it will give you this transformational power, the superpower that you never even knew that you had. You will find out, doing this workshop, you'll find out more of who you are.
Yeah. And what do you say to like people who are maybe afraid to find out, and okay, right, if I do this workshop and my whole world's going to fall apart, or this is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back in my relationship, or the fear that someone might have that they're going to find out something they really don't want to find out.
Yeah. The whole point of doing this work is that you already know intuitively what's right for you. You will get clarity on certain things, but what will actually happen usually as a result of this workshop is that your relationships will all get stronger, because you will be bringing your own self forth, and you'll be able to approach the other person with a more open heart. So it's very rare. It has actually never happened that relationships have broken down because of this workshop. It's been exactly the opposite. And also, if you think about, will I leave my job having done this workshop? It's not actually like that. It's about finding what's right about the job that you're in at the moment, and then appreciating that job until you naturally just move into something else, if that's your experience, if that's what you need to be doing next, or the job that you already have will actually transform. The relationship or the job will usually always transform into something that you always wanted when you do this Breaking the Patterns workshop.
So the sense of purpose of the person will become a bit more evident.
Absolutely.
Too. Yeah.
Your innate essence, who you are. There's many different ways of saying it, but yeah, absolutely. You will find out more. You'll be able to actually be more of an honest, open person as a result of having done this workshop, rather than abrasive, or it's more about relaxing into this new space that you're in and allowing other people to meet you there.
And I know you've talked about aggression before, and the negative connotations that society puts on being angry, and some of those negative emotions. I'm just thinking, that could come into play a fair bit with this too, couldn't it? Because
absolutely.
Is that worth saying something about now?
Yeah, well, anger is often considered to be a negative thing, as you said, and the reason why that is because most people don't like confrontation, and they feel, we have been conditioned to feel that if somebody attacks us, that we've either been bad or that they're bad. But actually, it's often just the behavior of somebody that is triggering the other person, not the person themselves. So it's never really the person that's bad, it's just their behavior that's considered to be bad. But anger is actually a very powerful tool for people who are working their way up from depression. Because when you're depressed, if you choose depression over any subject, over anger, it just basically means that to you it's more important what other people feel about where you are than what you feel about where you are. So your well-being, if you decide to be in depression instead of getting angry, for other people's sake, what you're doing is that you're rating other people's feelings more highly than your own. And going into anger from depression. So say, for example, you have a subject that you've been completely disempowered in as a child and it's running a pattern in your life. What's happening is that we are often in a place of complete powerlessness or even depression about that one particular subject. And the way up from that space is through anger, because anger is a lot more empowered feeling. So imagine yourself being completely depressed about something, and then you've been depressed and nothing happens, everything's pretty much monotone, and you're just trying to survive and you're struggling, you're tired. But when you're angry, you actually have this burst of energy and you have direction. So you are taking that energy and you're directing it somewhere when you're angry, when you get angry. And that's why if you have these feelings of powerlessness, the way out of it is to actually allow yourself to get angry. So it is a step up. Now, of course, if you're usually in any subject, if you're usually in a place of happiness, getting angry in that subject is a step backwards. However, we can have a fake happiness, or we can have an actual happiness about subject. And of course, we sometimes get frustrated, but we don't often go from happiness to anger if we are truly happy. So if we have fake happiness and we bounce between happiness and anger, that's very much possible. So then it is a step down. But if you are in depression, anger is a step up, and it's all good. And it's really important that everybody gets a space, a safe space, a sacred space to express their anger where it's not being judged. Because in fact, no matter what it is, what the anger is about, it's actually never about the thing. It's about how we feel about ourselves. So there's no point going yelling at your partner if they've pissed you off, because it's actually your problem. You have a situation and your partner may have triggered it, and they may have done it carelessly, in which case you can deal with your anger over here and then go back to your partner and say, that was very dishonoring towards me. That was really, I felt you were careless about what my values are and you weren't honoring my values. And that made me feel really hurt. But until you can actually say that, there's no point going attacking anybody else, because you need to deal with your anger appropriately in a safe space where it can be honored. So nobody's going to try and challenge it or argue with it. You go over there, you deal with your anger, and then you go to your partner and you say, it really caused me an injury. This really caused me an injury. It really hurt me. And I would like you not to do that again. But I don't expect you to change. If it's okay for you, I would like you to honor these values. If it's not okay for you, if you need to continue doing this, then that's what you need to continue doing. And I need to reassess whether or not I need to be in this relationship.
Yeah, so then that goes like, how self-aware does the partner need to be?
Depends how you present it. Because there are different ways of presenting, and we don't ever know how self-aware our partner is. We only have these projections that we put at them. Only actual action will tell you what they are like. And even at that point, when you're receiving something, it's only your perception of what they're giving to you that you can see. You will never completely understand where they're actually coming from. So at best, we can find common ground and the willingness to come together, meet halfway. It's a lot, I know, but that's what I mean by taking people's patterns, because I have this amazing way of manipulating people to become more of who they are. I can take their symptoms effectively, translate that into new patterns, and see if that works for that person, present it to that person and see if it works, if it aligns with their values completely. And if not, we can tweak it until it's absolutely right. And that's why people can have transformations doing these workshops.
So then they've got the tools to recognise if they've got, you know, negative patterns in the future, and then they can tweak those.
We start identifying
Yeah.
what we do, and then start transforming them. Once we've done it once we're used to the process, we're familiar with it, we can do it over and over and over again in different subjects. It's the same process, and we'll be covering that on the workshop.
Yeah. Yes, sounds very exciting.
It's very exciting. And the most exciting thing for me about this work is that people get to actually actualize who they are. Really actualize it in their lives. That's the most exciting thing for me.
Yeah. So what sort of transformations have you seen? People looking for a partner, people trying to, get a different job or earn more money, or, what, it just covers everything?
Well, with this Breaking the Patterns workshop, anything you bring on the table will be dealt with and will be transformed into something else, and then time will tell you. So time will be the best indicator, and that's why when I do work with people, I check in with them after a while to see how it's actually worked. A lot of people have found their true calling doing this workshop. So a lot of people do end up changing jobs because it felt better to do the next job, which was easily brought to these people who had this transformation about their jobs. People who have done this type of work with me in terms of relationships, like there's always at least a 75% kind of immediate rate of people finding themselves either dating the right kind of people or being in a relationship within 2 months of having done this work. It sounds massive, but to me, it's not really about like my work. It's about the results that the people see down the line. So if you take anybody who's done this work and take them today, look at where they are, and then take a cross section of their life in a year's time. That's the true measure of this work.
And so do you do that, like, in 12 months time you contact and say, oh, how are you going? Usually,
and I don't actually have to wait. What tends to happen is I don't have to contact people. They will drop me an email 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever down the line, and go, you know that thing you said? And I started seeing it everywhere. It started happening, and all of a sudden I wasn't even trying to get into a relationship. I was just focusing on what I was doing, and bam, I met this guy and we're living together. It's ridiculous how often that happens. But it's not about being a dating. I'm not going to coach you to find the right person or the right job or whatever, because the thing about it is that once you're yourself, you will find it. It will just come to you. You will arrive in a place where you find somebody or you find that job. You will just come together.
Tapping into your own resource and
who you are.
Opening, that person may have walked past them 50 times and they haven't been open to that.
Every single day of our lives, no matter what we want, if we want more money or we want a relationship or friends or whatever, every single day of your life you have 20 or 30 possible moments of that arriving into your existence. The question is, are you open to it? That's the real question. So the question isn't what do I need to do in order to get this. The question is, what do I need to stop doing from stopping from this thing coming into my life? So check out Breaking the Patterns workshop. 4 hours online. We'll be going through a process that will show you what's happening for you, what it actually means, and how that can be transformed into something else. Check it out.